Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Liverpool and Manchester United faced off once again, this time at Old Trafford. After a cagey draw in the league, in this FA Cup encounter, a winner had to emerge. And in the end, it was United who came out victorious, thanks to goals by Rashford, Greenwood and Fernandes, while Salah was at the double for Liverpool in this fascinating encounter. The XG was as close as the scoreline suggests, 1.9 to 2. But what tactics did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jurgen Klopp use? Let's take a look. A quick shout out to my Patreons for helping to make this video possible. If you want to support, head on over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple and you'll get rewards like early access to videos and exclusive content. Here's how both managers lined up, courtesy of our wonderful sponsor, OneFootball. Ole opted for a fluid 4-2-3-1 on paper, whilst Klopp on paper started in a 4-3-3. If you want to get lineups like this, a customized news feed, and so much more, check out the OneFootball app. It's the best football app and they've been supporting the channel for a while, so you can check them out absolutely free through the link in the description below. Let's start with how Liverpool looked to operate in possession, as they had the majority with almost 60%. Liverpool were usually able to come through the first phase relatively unchallenged, as United sat slightly deeper to maintain defensive solidity in a 4-2-3-1 mid-block. Nearing the halfway line, Cavani was the trigger for United to press. When he did this well, as the ball went into Fabinho, he cut off the passing lane back to Williams, meaning that he was taken out of the game and forced Fabinho to play forward. However, Cavani could be caught deeper trying to cut off the vertical passing lane rather than using a curved run, meaning that Williams could be found, and this tended to drag Rashford out of position as he would now press the second centre-back. This would leave Trent free down the flank, allowing Liverpool to subsequently progress. In fact, Rashford was often caught too high or too narrow when picking up Trent defensively, meaning that the right back was often in space as Salah moved into the half space to drag Shaw in, and on the overlap, he could get into good crossing positions. And the battle between Trent and Rashford was a fascinating game of chicken. Rashford would gamble staying higher often, and hoping Trent would be unable to make the difference on the overlap, sometimes aided by Pogba moving wider and Van de Beek tucking in. This is shown in Rashford's average position. At the same time, Trent pushing so high gambled that Liverpool would not lose the ball cheaply. But this did happen on several occasions, meaning that Rashford was United's first outlet, looking to counter into the space as he had the beating of Williams. We would often see Thiago look to cover his fullbacks either side when they advanced, but he often couldn't keep up with the pace, leading into dangerous situations. United's first goal shows shades of this. Trent is high, and when the ball breaks down in the final third with Pogba winning it, Rashford is then found out wide. And with Trent out of position, Williams comes across to cover, which drags Fabinho to the right, leaving Mason Greenwood in space on the left. Robertson was high, so Rashford's switch means that Greenwood has enough space to be 1 versus 1 and he finishes. The second United goal also comes on the transition, after the ball breaks down in Liverpool's midfield. Rashford, once again, is on the defender's last shoulder down the left with Trent high, and Greenwood releases him behind Williams for another 1 versus 1 finish. Liverpool had success building up centrally though. This was often when they formed a back three and lured Van de Beek away from his position covering the deepest pivot and into the press. This could be by Robertson staying deep and being the third centre-back, which would allow Thiago to be free. Alternatively, it could be Thiago who moved deeper with one of the wider midfielders dropping deep into the pivot role to receive. Crucially, Firmino would drop deeper to occupy a United pivot and prevent them pressing the deep man, as the midfield was naturally a 3 versus 3. So, Liverpool's deepest man would now have space to operate. We see shades of this in Liverpool's first. Thiago deep initially draws Van der Beek high, providing Wijnaldum space in the deep pivot role, whilst Firmino has dropped deeper between the lines. Firmino is found, with McTominay's marking not being the tightest, and he turns to find Salah, who is narrow, as Trent has pushed high and wide as previously discussed, and Salah finishes well 1 versus 1. But Solskjaer should also be credited for his constant adaptation to Liverpool's threat down the left-hand side. Curtis Jones tended to tuck in early, whether into midfield or the half space up front, meaning that Robertson pushed high early and looked to dictate the play, and he did have the most passes for Liverpool. Initially, Ollie swapped his wingers, hoping the threat of Rashford's pace in behind would make Robertson think twice about advancing so high. Subsequently, with Mane coming on to increase the left-hand side threat, he shuffled the deck and moved Pogba right, who is more defensively solid and can stay tighter on Robertson. But what did United do in controlled possession? When they built up from deep, they pushed both centre-backs into the box and the full-backs higher and wider. Unlike United, Liverpool looked to press higher up as a team, with the front three just outside the box ready to press when the ball became active, although Firmino could sit deeper on a pivot. Crucially, the Liverpool fullbacks were ready to press their opposite numbers high if the ball did go wide. So, often, United would look long into the wingers in the wider areas, particularly to Rashford, who could drag Williams out of position, but this was usually to no avail. And Liverpool pushed Wijnaldum and Milner higher on the press, and United often didn't drop forwards into the midfield for the overload, and this pressure would often cause United to lose the ball in dangerous zones. We see shades of this in Salah's second. Liverpool are pressing high with their forwards and their more advanced midfielders. This time we do see Cavani look to drop in to help and create the overload in the build-up, but under pressure, his pass is intercepted and Liverpool have the numbers to spring forward and score. Overall, this match could have gone either way, but United were clinical when it counted. It represents a big win for Ollie's men, and could give them a necessary boost to continue their run. Klopp, on the other hand, will be worried by the run of results, although this was a better performance. And with an encounter against Jose next, things will not get any easier. But what did you notice in this match? Drop it down below, as not all tactics could be covered. A big thanks to all my current Patreons, including Shannon Brown, Liam Costa and True D for joining the Ultra tier. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.